Have you ever heard about genetic engineering? Or have you tackled genetic engineering from the past? Well, I'm about to tell you about genetic engineering and how it's made or how it's discovered and how it uses. Well, genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is a recombinant of DNA, technology, and biotechnology, the buzzword you may have heard often on radio or TV, or read about the features articles, newspaper, or popular magazine. It's a set of techniques that are used to achieve one or more or three goals to reveal the complex process on how genes are inherited and expressed. To provide better understanding the effects of treatment for various diseases and to generate economic benefits which includes improved plants and animals. For genetic engineering possess both vast promise and potential threat to humankind. Well, from this, it has a positive and negative, and I'm gonna tell you about it later. It is an understatement to say that genetic engineering will revolutionize the medicine, the agriculture, and the 21st future. As this technology unleashes the power to impact our daily life, it is also bring challenges in our ethical system and religious belief. The real story of genetic engineering began to unfold the creation of the first engineered DNA molecule through slicing DNA fragments to two related species of together was made public in 1972. Soon followed were a whole array of recombinant DNA molecule, genetically modified bacteria, viruses, fungi, plants, and animals. Medical application of genetic engineering includes diagnosis for genetic and other diseases, treatment or genetic disorders, regenerate medicine using fluorescent cells, production of safer and more effective vaccine, and pharmaceuticals and prospects of curing genetic disorder through gene therapy. This is on owing to its potential to give humanity unprecedented power over life itself. The research and application of genetic engineering has generated much debate and controversy. Another area is the commercial production of vaccine and pharmaceuticals through genetic engineering, which has emerged as rapidly developing field. From this stage, I'm going to tell you about advantages and disadvantages of genetic engineering. Although the advantage of genetic engineering may not be apparent at the disadvantage, upon further inspection, there are numbers of benefits that we can only get if scientists consider to study and advance in particular branch of study, which are just few in benefits. First advantage I'm going to tell you is tackling and defeating disease. Some of the most deadly, difficult diseases in the world that have to resist destruction could be wiped out by the use of genetic engineering. There's a number of genetic mutation and humans can suffer from that will provide never be ended unless we genetic mutation and humans can suffer from will probably never be ended unless we actively intervene a genetically engineer and next generation to withstand this problem. For instance, critic fibrosis and processive and dangerous disease for which there is no known cure could be completely cured with the help of selective genetic engineering. From number 2, from advantages, getting rid of all illness in young and unborn children. There are very many problems that we can detect even before our children are born in the womb. Doctors can tell whether your baby is going to suffer from sickle cell anemia. For instance, for a Down syndrome, in fact, a date reached by you can have an abortion has been pushed back relatively late to its people can decide whether or not to abort a baby if it has one more or sort of issues. People from having children if they suffer from a disease like this. Therefore, genetic engineering can help to ensure the disease to pass on younger generation. From the third advantages from genetic engineering is produce new foods. Genetic engineering is not just good for people. With genetic engineering, we can design foods that are better, able to withstand harsh temperature, such as in a very hot or very cold. For instance, they are packed full of right nutrients that humans and animals need to survive. So, we may able to make our food have better medical value in introducing edible vaccines readily available for people all over the world. From this stage, I'm going to tell you about the disadvantage of genetic engineering. Perhaps more obvious than the advantage of genetic engineering, there are numbers of disadvantages that allowing scientists to break down barriers, perhaps better left untouched. Here are just few of those disadvantages. From first, well, we're not very in common of this genetic engineering because we don't go deep study on this topic. The first disadvantage is it right? When genetic engineering first became possible, people's first reactions were immediately question whether it is right. Many religions believe that genetic engineering aftershock tantamount to playing God and expressly forbid that it's performed to their children or instance. Besides the religion arguments, however, there are a number of ethic objections. This disease, after all, exists a reason have persisted through history for a reason. We should be fighting against them. We do not, at least few illness, otherwise we soon become overpopulated. In fact, living longer is already causing social problems in the world. Today, we are also artificially extended everybody's time on earth. We might even cause even more problems further down in line, problems that we might cannot predict. Or second, the limit of gene diversity. We diversity in all species of animal by genetically engineering our species. However, we will be having a detrimental effect on our genetic diversity in the same way as something like cloning would do. Genetic therapy is available only in the rich and elite, which means that the traits tend to make people earn less money would eventually die out. Can it go too far? One pressing question with genetic engineering that has been around for years is whether it could be going too far. There are many thousands of genetic scientists with honest intention who want to bring end of the worst of disease and illnesses for the current century, and who are trying to do so are using genetic engineering. Scientists want to upgrade or more to do so, to go deep down about this genetic engineering. Well, However, what is to stop just a handful of people taking the research too far? What if we started demanding designing babies, children whose hair color, eye color, height, and intelligence? Or other self, what if we end up engineering the sex of our baby? Like we predict it, like we can predict if whether it's man or a woman, we can predict their gender. For instance, in China, where it is much more preferable to have a boy, or it is right, or it is fair. The problem with genetic engineering going too far, an ever-present worry in the world in which genetic engineering is progressing further and further every day. Genetic engineering is one of the topics that cause a lot of controversy. Alerting the DNA of organism has raised a few eyebrows. It may work wonders, but who knows if playing with the nature is really safe. Making yourself aware of all aspects of genetic engineering can help you form your own opinion. Thank you.